talk about. Actually, you know what I want to ask you about is this
anything, Steve,
Mark
anything.
Williams thing.
Oh, yeah.
So Mark Williams was the center that was originally acquired at the trade deadline by Rob Pelinka in exchange for Dalton, Knecht, and Cam Reddish and a number one draft pick. Then the Lakers, it sounds like they kind of looked under the hood and said, hey, wait a minute, there's more stuff here than you told us about. Is that a fair characterization?
Yeah, that's what happened. Like, okay, Dave McMenamin, I will source this to him, said that when Rob Pelinka met with Luka Doncic after he first got here, Luka said, you know, what really is important for me in my game is to have a big that has vertical spacing, a lob threat. You know, there's space on the court horizontally, space vertically, yada, yada. Okay. So he had a list of guys, like, who do you like? And this is the guy that Luka said he really liked. And, you know, I'm sure he had, like, you know, rank them, you know, 1 to 10 who he liked the most, okay? So he had a list. But Charlotte had called about something else, and I think they knew the Lakers would need a lob threat, et cetera.
Right.
And this Mark Williams is a guy that they really like. He's 23 years old. He's a lottery pick. He was a really good player, but he's had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, he had a foot thing, had a back thing.
Yeah. So he wasn't really available, but you know, they were willing to listen. Right. And so the Lakers then, you know, get aggressive in their conversations because they know that Luka wants this guy, and he's 23, Luka's 25. This is a great tandem to grow together, fits the age profile, et cetera. So they go and get him. And when you do a trade, you get a certain level of medical information in advance. Like you get, you know, I think you get scans sent over to you, like CTs or whatever. You get
is that how it went?
Yeah, you get a general sense of their medical history before you consummate a trade. It's not like they didn't do any research.
So they don't. So how much information do you get before you say yes on the trade?
You get a fair amount.
Yeah.
However, you haven't got to look at the guy in person. It's like the difference between doing a Zoom or have somebody evaluate you based on some scans and have them come into the office.
So does that mean, I'm just asking questions here, does that mean he came to L.A. and he went through a medical protocol that the Lakers had?
Yes.
Okay. And then the Lakers said, we want to rescind this. There's stuff here that we didn't know about.
Correct. So the question is, did Charlotte not tell the Lakers everything in the first place? Were there new things that should have been disclosed initially? It's like, you know, that's why you do a home inspection when you buy a house.
Right.
Like, you don't just say this. You don't do a walkthrough by yourself. You get an inspector who's going to go do a whole thing.
Right.
Think of that as the physical.
Is it possible that
they had buyer's remorse?
Yes.
Anything's possible. I don't believe that's the case here. I think they got in there and saw some significant concerns for a guy who, let's remember, that first round pick is very valuable, and they gave up their own first round pick, a guy they liked, Dalton Knecht, and Mark Williams is 23, and I think he's extension eligible this summer. So you're in a position where you're going to have to lock him up.
Yeah,
and you know, for a long time with a long contract. So I don't know, I'm guessing, but if there's something with his foot, if there's something with his back, if there's something that is troubling, like a red flag, or it could be other things. I heard there were multiple areas they were really concerned about. That you gotta really be sure to, especially to A, cancel a trade, and then B, deal with all the mess afterwards, and then also not be able to do anything about it.
So what?
There were other guys they could have got.
Correct. It's the opportunity cost.
Yes.
They could have been getting somebody else.
Good phrase.
Thank you very much.
Where did you learn that?
I learned it probably from listening to the New York Times Daily. Yeah. Opportunity cost, maybe.
I like it. Can you give me a definition?
Opportunity cost is what you could have gotten while you were getting something else.
That's good enough.
That's all right.
That's close enough.
Close.
Yeah.
That's in the ballpark.
It's in the ballpark.
So, and by the way, I don't listen to the New York Times Daily. I have no idea why that. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else? New York Times Daily?
No.
Mike Trudell. Mike Trudell, exactly
that fits,
right.
Yeah.
I read it in the New Yorker.
Okay, so let me tell you something. I've been wanting to do this once, and